It's What the Fuck Are You Reading? We're a monthly reading podcast where we talk about what the fuck we're reading. I'm Chris, and this is Lisa.
Hello.
Silas.
What's up?
Bones.
Howdy doodly.
And we got a very special guest tonight. He's the author of Infernal Tramps. It's Alex Grass.
I'm gonna go old school.
Okay.
You don't get the mic. You get the MacBook version. This is what we're reduced to.
Okay, it's no problem.
I can only hope I don't sound like one of those murderers through it like a voice-olator.
I think it's cool.
It's all good.
I'm right behind you. What are you wearing?
I think that would work really well.
Behind you, what are you wearing?
Hell yeah, dude.
Like, obviously, I know what you were wearing. What am I saying?
Maybe you're a blind serial killer. I'm right behind you. Yeah, it feels like you're wearing leather. What are you wearing? That'd be a subversion right there.
Yeah.
Need more blind serial killers in media.
Yeah, we do. Definitely.
I love blondes. You never killed a blonde. Oh, shit. Damn it. I tried. They smelled like blondes.
Oh my god.
I smelled Starbucks and it went off.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to the show, Alex. How are you doing tonight?
Good. You know, that really threw me. Now I'm thinking about like a blind serial killer.
That's an idea for you.
I guess they did that though. You remember what was that movie? There was that guy and they broke into his house.
Don't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was really good.
I still haven't.
That was super gross at the end.
Yeah, it was fucking. The turkey baster was rancid. Turkey baster, yeah.
That was admirably gross. That was like, wow.
Yeah. And then in the second one, they made him a hero, and he's protecting the rape baby, and he's like a good father, and like it's like, damn, that's a shift.
Well, I mean, listen. Obviously, he wanted the rape baby, right?
Yeah.
True.
They definitely wanted that rape.
And we're not talking about this. Isn't like an unwanted rape baby.
Yeah.
It's a purposeful. You know, even like. His whole intent is the rape baby, so he cares a lot about the rape baby.
Yeah, he's a pro-life serial killer. Somebody has to be a voice for the vulnerable
raper.
Yeah.
The vulnerable he created. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's about time somebody wants to rape baby.
Imagine that episode of Maury. You are not rape baby father.
Oh,
he shows up to the studio like 2 hours late. They're like, we finally got him.
Oh.
In handcuffs. You are not the rapist.
Well, yeah, we read Infernal Tramps and we reviewed it last week. No, we liked it.
Sorry.
It was
very refreshing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Especially the namesake. Infernal Tramps was my favorite story in it. I really fucking loved that one.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, originally the book was going to be entitled, I mean, this will sound a little rich, but it was going to be entitled Rape Baby. It was.
Damn.
Rape Baby and the Translucent Titty.
That's right.
The Adventures of Rape Baby.
How about even The Adventures of Captain Rape Baby?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah.
Now I gotta make that. Be like the Captain Underpants guy. It's like Rape Baby versus the like Germanic otherworldly being.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's like dressed up like Captain Underpants, except in the cover he just has a huge whistle around his neck.
and fat little veiny titties.
Spreading
Little
awareness.
veiny titties, and like a mother who's looking at him with like a mixed look of loving and loathing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's hate in those eyes. Yeah.
Like most of our mothers.
Yeah, right.
Silas, this needs to be a comic book right now. A comic book or SOV fucking movies.
Official crossover media.
Yeah.
With the what the fuck verse.
Yeah.
Dark Horse Comics presents Captain Rape Baby. And
I could actually.
Captain Rape Baby in The Stone of the Bone.
Oh my god.
Captain Rape Baby in The Ilk of the Milk.
Oh, that's good. Dude, there's like
Captain Rape Baby in A Tipple at the Nipple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, there's like a breastfeeding cult that fucking hoards all the milk, and it's his duty to go and murder them all. That'd be awesome.
Oh my god, if this was a little bit later, I just came out with a story. It's not getting published until August, but it's like basically about breast milk.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Hell yeah.
It's demented.
nice.
So then we get the barbarian baby bottle match with the turkey baster cum and insemination from Don't Breathe.
I'm running the whole gamut of the life cycle, basically.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Well, I do have a question for you, Alex.
Yeah, go ahead.
When did this project what was the inception point? What was the kicking off point, or what was the first thing you wrote for it? Where'd you come from to decide it's got to be a wider collection? That sort of a thing.
Well, I guess the inception point the inception point would be, I used to write just novels, and then like I sort of followed the path of books that I really enjoyed until I found my way into reading short stories, and it's kind of like your interests are just guided by the path you follow. And so I started reading short stories, and I was like, you know what? I haven't tried doing that. I'm going to give it a shot because, listen, I'm no great shakes, but there's a shitload of really terrible writers out there. So,
Yes.
I can at least, do something more serviceable than they do. And,
yeah, dude, this was a cut above. We read a lot of like splatterpunk and shit, like on this podcast because it fits with the tone. But like, there's a lot of shit tier stuff out there. I really I appreciated this book quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. Yeah.
You have a really unique prose style. Did you keep your same style from like long fiction? Or did you switch it up for short?
If you read the novels, there's shades of it, but like basically, I think if you're trying to be a good writer, you're always trying to improve yourself.
Yeah.
And so, I was trying to, I don't know, I guess enrich the prose,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
some people might say that makes it a little bit purple, but you know what? Those people can go fuck themselves.
Hey,
No, I'm just kidding. But really.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But really.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate short story collections a lot because it's like there's something in there for everybody. And the premises you had for each short were so vastly fucking different and like off the wall and unique. Like I thought it was really refreshing to not like have anything super similar stacked up.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. I get some really cool emails. My favorite is I love hearing from people who it's their whole gig to read horror stories all the time and pass judgment on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear from a whole bunch of stories, from a whole bunch of people who's like, wow, I haven't really read anything like this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And, I think it's not a douchebag thing to say because I'm just relating what somebody else said.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely be a greater fit of douchebaggery if I was like, I write stuff that nobody writes. But,
well, dude, I'd definitely say that like that's something that's just purely fucking true. I mean, if you look on Goodreads, even like the slightly negative reviews of Infernal Tramps, they always talk about how the premises were so fucking like unique and good. Like,
yeah,
even the bad reviews agree.
Yeah, my favorites are like, I didn't like this book at all. I'm not sure I'll ever forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like the prose equivalent of somebody's handsy uncle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely thought this was something that, for me, it really seems like something that fits within a vein of the current trends in a lot of internet horror, which is like, there's a lot of this stuff where it's very open-ended. There's nothing really like spelled out for you. There's a lot of anomaly horror, a lot of like weird like closet dimension kind of horror stuff going on. But this largely did not feel like something that was derivative of anything. Like it felt like it very much its own thing, while also having a very eclectic and almost like old world writing style to it that really fit with the vibes of things that definitely would not have even attempted to incorporate themes that you did, like having a lot of like modern tech and modern types of people in a setting where otherwise I would feel like I was reading like Burroughs or fucking Lovecraft or somebody like that, with the prose style and the style of vocabulary and the style of storytelling. And I got a lot of bizarro Americana in this that I like really responded to, mixed with kind of like a postmodern, very contemporary, like cell phone culture kind of aesthetic with some of the storylines specifically that I thought was just like such a cool juxtaposition, because I don't get that from a lot of stuff. It feels like everything picks a lane and it kind of stays in that lane, right? But this really crossed those things over in a way that I thought was pretty fucking seamless. I think you did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I agree, and I'm great, and I think we can all agree that I'm great. And, no, listen, I didn't like set out to do any. I didn't set out to reinvent the wheel. I think I just tried to be like the one thing I always try to do is like, listen, I have what's it called when you are directly oppositional to people at all times for all reasons.
Contrarian.
Oppositional defiance disorder, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. My favorite kind of disorder.
That makes some of the best art.
Yeah. I just like recall a million times throughout my entire life, people always saying, you can't do this with this, and you can't do this with this, and you can't do that with that. And, my rationale has always was like, well, like I work at home and this isn't my bread and butter, so I'll write whatever the fuck I want to write,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, if you don't like it, you can eat my ass on a day I haven't showered.
Oh, man.
Or,
I get it.
depending who
Do you find... so we have friends that also work from home, and that was kind of like my thing where I was like, it would be my dream job to be able to just work from home and focus on creative stuff on the side. But like my current setup is fine because I do like a really simple, like computery, like kind of desk job that's only like a 3-minute drive from my house. So it's not that bad, really. It's not really that different than what I would be looking for.
Let me tell you something. There is nothing that can beat a good commute. There's nothing that could beat a good commute. The one thing that's like a fixity in people's lives that ruins the quality of their life is a very long commute.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know who said that? Uda.
Okay.
Uda said that.
I'll take your word for it.
Do you find though that like having your setup for being able to work from home and do this on the side, is that just like your ideal situation for creativity? Do you feel like you wouldn't when you started writing, what was your work situation, and does your current setup with working from home benefit the creative process for you?
I would say that my current setup's a lot better. I just have more space. We lived in like a really tiny 2-bedroom. We have 3 kids, and so there's 5 people living in a 3-bedroom above like a butcher shop in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. It was like, I don't know. It was like way too much of an immigrant story for like, okay. And I'm like, both sides of the family, me and my wife, we're very far away from an immigrant story.
Yeah.
But New York will do that to you,
Oh,
Yeah. Just the situations you find yourself in and your living domicile and stuff. It's just kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like but difficulty is like kind of like a crucible, and I think that because I'm relaxed and I can work at my own pace and I don't know. There's a certain mania that I lost from being in that tiny space where I was forced to work, because I remember it was so, if you have kids, it's just it's so mind numbing to be in one room together, because other than the bedrooms there was the one room, and it was COVID. And so I was literally I was so psychologically affected. I was bobbing my head, I was like Muhammad Ali punch drunk, And so sometimes I'd wake up at 4 a.m. to write,
Damn.
And just pump out 3-4 hours, and that was hugely productive. And I'm definitely not that productive anymore. But then again,
no, yeah, I definitely feel you on that, because I feel like some of the best, most affecting shit I ever did was stuff I did when I was in just dire fucking straits, the throes of nonsense going on in life. And then now that I'm stable and comfortable and we have our house and we do our thing, it's just I don't want to do shit anymore.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a basic human thing, when times are tough, you're trying everything in every single outlet to try and affect some sort of change, whether or not that change is actually going to change your circumstance, but that's sort of the mode that you're in. Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm relaxed, and I have I guess difficulties sometimes, but really I work at a leisurely pace, and my biggest psychological hang up is I got to say to myself, listen, you got to get some of this done at a certain point,
Yeah.
I feel that.
That being said, probably a lot of people who are writers would look at my output and they'd be well, you're still, I don't know if I am writing more than most people. I probably still am writing more than most people.
You write more than me. Fuck.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. I'm sad our buddy Zach Ferguson, he's usually on here, but he has been super inundated with real life family stuff recently, so he wasn't able to get around to the book and get on for this. But I would have been really happy to have him here, because he has been doing self-publishing and publishing other people in the underground for 14 years. So it's so it's it would have been really, really awesome to get his perspective on some of this, but the cards just were not in the right place to be played that way. But who are some of your, I guess in a more general sense, and you can move it into Infernal Tramps or just your full body of work if you want to, who are your biggest influences? Who are the writers that really get you going, really get the gears turning? And then what were the biggest specific influences that went into this book or the books you have so far?
So probably the biggest influence for, I don't know, this is a super hard question, and there's no way to honestly, there's no way to honestly answer this.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you go into court and the judgment you get from the judge depends on what he had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you could probably list like I can with anything I do. It's I could list hundreds of touchstones that developed that sensibility throughout life, right? But
yeah,
I guess if you need to narrow it down, I guess for Infernal Tramps specifically, was there anything in particular you were trying to pull from for that?
Well, it's weird. I was reading all these authors, and the authors are nothing. They have nothing in common with my writing. One in particular that I read all 8 of his short story collections. He's this guy named Reggie Oliver, and his writing is nothing like mine. It's if anything, and I don't even know if people know this name anymore, it's M.R. James. It's sort of ghost stories or freaky stuff happening in academia,
Okay.
But in the way of general inspiration, his stuff is just, sometimes you read something, and I always say, in creative fiction, there's writers and there's storytellers, and sometimes you get both. And those guys are just they're taking a story and they're hammering you in the head with it, they're bludgeoning you. You get you get no relief, and you're just inside of the story.
Yeah, the book is Cannibal Corpse, and they're just hammer smashing your fucking face in the whole time. With
oh my god!
All the extrapolation, all the detail, all the world building, all the thing.
totally. I used to have an email correspondence with Alex Webster, the bassist for Cannibal Corpse.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He was. I'll tell that story another time. He was just. There's nothing to tell. He was just a really nice, thoughtful guy.
Yeah.
I met him when
Most of them are in that band. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. It's like, you know, I don't know, a total tangent, but like the people who are really most problematic are the ones who are trying to control what other people do. And I find oftentimes the death metal heads aren't really interested in controlling other people, you know?
Yeah.
They just want to do their shit and get on with their day.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a release for their dunderhead bass instincts, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys are typically pretty intelligent, philosophical, walk through life with a kind of ease and comfort and niceness that I always aspire to.
For sure.
Despite their artistic output.
For sure. It could also be that, like, the way they look, nobody fucks with them ever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be it, too.
I know. I did that as a trauma response, so, like, I get it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like,
I got my hands tattooed and shit.
look, every big person I've ever met, like, someone who's, like, bigger than, like, 6'3" and, like, heavy, like, they're so easygoing. And then I think to myself, well, like, of course they are. Like, who's going to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. The beasts.
So Reggie Oliver, and then you know what? It's interesting. We're sort of like in a heyday of horror media, not just like film and TV, but also in publishing. There's this great new press. Well, new. They're probably like 30 years old now, but they're called Valancourt Books, and they put out. They just put out this fantastic stuff, and a lot of it's from the international horror scene. So like people you never would have heard of otherwise, you know?
Hell yeah.
Because translation's such a pain in the ass, you know?
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But if there's some guy you want to read, he makes my stuff look like Leave It to Beaver. Read this guy named Attila Veris. He has two collections. One's called The Black Maybe, and another one's called This'll Make Things a Little Easier.
Okay.
But I read The Black Maybe, I guess, while I was writing this. And then another guy named Luigi Mussolino, he wrote A Different Darkness. And, I guess I really, basically I read exclusively, you call them like modern weird fiction short story collections. Mm-hmm. That's where I would say the inspiration came from. But I can't honestly say that was the case, because most of what I was writing, I mean, like you see it in the prose, most of what I was writing was like, I was reading M.R. James. I was reading, like Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. I'm 50-50 on Lovecraft. Sometimes I read a Lovecraft story and I'm just like, Jesus,
Yeah.
And then other times I read it and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I can feel your depression through the page,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think some of us seek that out around these parts, but in mind though, like you were saying before, I think there is something to be said about taking inspiration from things that don't actually share a lot with your writing sensibilities in particular, because it makes it, I don't know, it just makes it so much less derivative if you're extrapolating from all these sources that are so not what you're going to be synthesizing them into or distilling them into, Like you're taking more of these broad or outer edges kind of concepts or sensibilities about other writers, and then putting them through your filter and putting it into your own thing and crafting something kind of brand new out of that. And I think that makes it just a lot more interesting and original than people who are just following a very straight and narrow kind of thread of authors that came before them. Like a lot of the stuff we cover with newer splatterpunk authors versus the old ones or whatever, because a lot of those guys are just kind of they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just building on source material, right? And just kind of elevating it one stair step at a time or whatever, or a ladder rung or something like that. But with what you're talking about, just doing stuff that's kind of taking from all these other sources that don't actually have much in common with the final product. I think that's in my experience, it's where a lot of the best stuff comes from that I end up getting a lot of reaction to, is when I hear those sorts of sensibilities from people talking about their work, whether it's films or books or games or anything else. So
Yeah,
I think that's a really good path to take.
When you surpass genre.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, like, you know, at a certain point, right? So, like, genre is, it's not completely arbitrary, but there's elements of it that are arbitrary, right? You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, there is a difference between science fiction and horror. There's not a difference between sci-fi horror and horror so much, you know? It's more like gradations of technology, but basically covering the same tropes, for instance, in that case. But, you know, I think there are people who are interested in, like, just doing what they do well and expanding more broadly. Like, you know, there's short story authors that I read while I was writing Infernal Tramps, and they are the furthest thing from horror. You know, Raymond Carver, guy from New England. I can never remember his name, but I love his stories. That guy from New England. That really narrows it down, especially for short story writers.
Yeah.
You know, that guy in the state where Yale and Harvard are. You know, that short story writer.
Yeah.
That guy. It's like, oh, okay. And then, like, you know, I think there are writers who are. I am interested in transgression, although I don't know, like, how interested I am in the transgressive genre, because I think that, you know, what you identified is there is, like, a certain institutional creep in areas where people are starting to do the same thing, and it can be cool, you know. Like, I definitely appreciate what splatterpunk does, and I've definitely read, you know, a fair share of splatterpunk, and, you know, it has its luminaries, you know, like Chris Triana, I guess. Or, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brutal rocks.
Yeah. but you know, I think I'm, like, more interested in just, like, reading a story, and it just happens to, my expressive outlet for doing something that I admire is in horror, you know. But, like, I read a short story. I can't remember the author's name, and I'm not going to narrow it down, but because I'm going to say that really smart Asian guy.
Okay.
Sorry, that really smart Asian guy who writes science fiction. There you go.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
There's only one, right?
The multitudes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only one.
It's like
billion.
literally structured into their fucking DNA.
Yeah. and look, they're so great too, because the social consequences of being something like a writer in Asian culture are so much more severe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you tell if you're, like, you know, from, like, let's just call it, like, a regular American background, and you go to school, as long as you're getting a degree for it, your parents will be like, well, it's not what I would do, but God bless you, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And, like, Asian parents are like, here are your choices: doctor, engineer, shame.
My art professor in college, she was from a really strict Korean family, and it was that sort of thing. Like, I remember her talking to us pretty candidly at certain points about, like, and she's massively successful. Like, she has moved on from my podunk town to, like, way better schools, and is a dean now, and not just an art professor. Like, she's done really well.
Mm-hmm.
But she was always talking about how, despite her successes, every time she met up with her parents and talked to her dad, he would just go on and on about how he wished that she had become a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and, like, listen, there is something to that, and there's something to that as related to the immigrant experience. You know, Asians aren't the first ones to do it, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, my mom, and we'll do a little aside, you know, you'll have to pardon me for this, but my mom has a favorite joke that her father used to tell her. So there's a Jewish woman, and her son is it's fine, relax. It's fine. Relax.
Have you listened to the podcast? It's fine.
Yeah, trust me. On this show, whatever you say is fine.
But like, also, it's not what you think it's going to be because I'm Jewish and I'm very happily Jewish. So just everybody, calm down, okay?
Yeah, same deal. And I lean into Nazi aesthetics like no other because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I do love like a good. Well, doesn't matter. Let me tell this joke.
Yeah.
Let me tell this joke. Okay, so this Jewish woman, her son is elected the first Jewish president of the United States. This is fiction, and one of the first. I don't
know what you're talking about. We have Benjamin Netanyahu, who's pretty much the president of the United States.
God damn it, Silas.
You don't want to get me started. Because I'm coming from the other side. I have family in Israel. So let's avoid it.
Yeah.
Let's just avoid it. But so she gets a call from her son, first Jewish president of the United States. It's the first act he does as president. He calls his mother and he says, Ima, which is what you say, Mom, I did it. I'm the president of the United States. And his mother says, David, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I can't believe it. What a monumental achievement. And the mother hangs up the phone and she's sitting in the room with her friend and her friend says, was that the doctor? And the mom says, no, that was the other one.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
That's the other one.
I do have a question too, because I noticed a lot of things in the book that reminded me. I was just like listing films as I went along because I was curious about your filmic references or the stuff you're taking from film, because we're primarily a movie podcast, but the book podcast is super fun and way more intellectual than our stupid Riff Tracks Mystery Science Theater bullshit that we do on our other half of the show. Yeah. But what were some of the horror film inspirations that came into Infernal Tramps?
The only things I could point to reliably are like this stuff from my childhood, okay. And that is hard to recall, just like in the midst of a forum like this, we're in the middle of an interview, but I always say The Fly was big.
Hell yeah. Okay.
I could see that a lot. You have a lot of body horror-esque feeling throughout the book.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Which I was not even. This is going to sound so fucking bizarre, but I was not even conscious of it. And I remember I got an early review, and I said to my wife, "Is do you think this is body horror?" And she's like, "Every single story involves some sort of grotesque transformation. How is it not body horror?"
No, I get it though. I get it. The whole idea of it not even being conscious, that's a. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, in a way, I feel like that's where you want to be, though, right? Because it's if it comes through in a very baseline naturalistic way, it's much less forced as sort of a genre narrative or a trope, right? Yeah. And I get that a lot out of your stuff. There were some really visceral elements in your stories within this book that reminded me of a lot of the stuff we typically cover, but it was just written in such a more nuanced and intelligent way, and it really cut to the core. Especially the
game one is the one I was thinking of, because that one reminded me of Splatterpunk like a motherfucker. Dude, the descriptions in that was crazy.
Which one?
The one about the video game. I always the name.
Yeah. I can't even say it half the time. Poochkamunka Splash.
Poochkamunka Splash. Yeah. But I was thinking of the sequence in meeting Ivor Bullman. The fucking part about the dementia-addled mother falling and breaking her skull was just it really took me aback when I was reading it. I was just oh God, look, this is actually kind of a visceral shock. And then I came back into the full narrative once it very seamlessly just moved right back in. But I guess that kind of brings me to, there is a sort of dreamlike cadence to the way that everything moves in this book, in these stories, where you can throw so much at the wall that juxtaposes in a really extremely contrasting way between the last thing that happened in the story, but it doesn't feel awkward or strange. It's almost just this constant moving wave of transition as things play out. And I really appreciated that about it, because it just didn't ever make me think, what the fuck was that about? Why was that even in there? It just made it sort of weaved into the wider narrative in a way that I like really appreciated, because nothing that was in there, regardless of how like out of left field it felt, it never took away from the experience of just moving through these stories. And I thought that was poetic. Super cool.
Well, one thing I try to do, and this is why like some sort of formal training is really great. And like I did well. I didn't do well in all of school, but I did well in everything that had to do with English,
Yeah.
And, I went to law school and I learned a lot in law school too, So I think there's like a couple of things. If you're always trying to tell the truth, and you're always trying to tell the truth even about people who are liars and who are grotesque, but you're trying to show what this person would really look like, in that story, Meeting Ivor Volman, the protagonist, like, he's a bit of a shut-in. He lives in his dead mother's house,
Yeah.
Like, what kind of things would this guy think about all day long? Well, in the midst of even the strangest scenario, he would probably think of his dead mother, because he lives in his dead mother's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, here's this woman, like, who's like his friend, and she's like, obviously from the, she seems, at least from the impression we get as readers, and my intent as a writer, she's sort of like a vivacious woman, who is for completely unfathomable reasons interested in him, right? Which sometimes happens in life, and as I've grown, I've found actually happens a lot more often than not.
Yeah.
It's just amazing the number of men these days who are totally comfortable having women pay for everything for them. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm judging. But you write a story, and you got to try and like. I'm not trying to please readers. I'm hopeful that I will.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that I'll please readers, but I'm not trying. I'm not trying to, give them the finger and say, "Go fuck you," Go fuck you.
Go fuck you.
Go make fuck. But
you gotta do it for yourself. Yeah, not the readers.
You gotta do. Readers want to read somebody who's doing it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly, and that's the sensibility I got from this book. And not in a like masturbatory or self-indulgent kind of way either. It just felt like, oh, this guy has like a real fucking voice with his prose, and it's like actually something that is so refreshing to read, because so much of what we read is just trying to play kind of a by the numbers game. And so it was so cool to read this, because it's obvious that you have a sort of style and sensibility about yourself that whether it's going to go over our heads or not, it's still going to be there and in your face, and you either have to find out how you're going to meet it halfway or not. And I really appreciated that about this collection. I thought it was very affecting in that way.
Yeah.
I think that was the perfect story to bring up too, with meeting fucking Ivor Vol. I'm gonna fuck that up every time I try to say it, but I don't want to ruin the twist, but the fucking meta-ish aspects of it worked so well with the prose, and like I out loud was like, oh shit. Like, and that's my second favorite. I love that fucking story. I think your style worked fucking perfectly with that one.
I loved writing it, and the thing I always love about the story is I always love the random insane person, because to me that is actually one of the things that is most lifelike. Especially I live in New York, so the idea of just like a random completely insane person in the midst of everything tracks.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We live in the fentanyl era, dude. I see them all the time.
I grew up in Philly. I mean, I grew up in Philly before Trank, but, still, I saw my fair share of, pre-Trank zombies, I guess you might call them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I noticed several of your other books are set in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I just started reading Drek today. I haven't gotten very far, but I really like it too.
Ooh. That is probably my favorite book. There is some really gross, funny stuff in there.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to ruin it, but
Yeah.
it is on the level of, it's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's so gross. And it's just like, life really is filled, if you think about it, with these characters who are just batshit insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think about it, and there's lots of reasons why people become batshit insane. But it's usually some trauma that's compounded on by their own choices to reinforce the trauma later in life.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's sad, but it's also the most interesting thing narratively speaking to see someone who's out of sorts and really struggling. Nobody's going to listen to the news if the news is like, today many kindnesses done in the spirit of Christ.
Yeah. You can't live vicariously through fucked up shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember I was out in Indiana. Me and my brother Harry were in Indiana. We were watching the local news. And of course, like in comparison to the local news in New York, the local news in New York is like 3 kids decapitated riding the subway today. On top of the subway, right? Police officer shot in the head while looking at a picture of his newborn daughter in the car. And then like I'm watching this news story in Indiana, and it's like, man embezzles from pickleball league and makes the league whole with interest paid. And I'm like, that's not a story.
That's my neck of the woods. I totally get what you mean.
Yeah. And like, you want those people to exist. You want that to be the kind of behavior that you see in the world, but you don't want it in your stories.
It's not entertaining. Stop being such a fucking altruist and do something crazy.
Like I have family members with challenges. Nothing would make me happier than to see a kinder world that I could rely on to care about them after I die. Right. But those people aren't going to be, incredibly interesting. And, in contradicting what Oprah's book club would lead you to believe, making those stories interesting is very, 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 very difficult. And usually it has to revolve around something where like people are being kind in the midst of something pretty terrible.
There has to be stakes.
Our psychology has a lot of biases as far as all that goes, like just as a species, like the way that we choose to perceive and ingest all of that sort of stuff, like the way that we choose to prioritize it, especially with like what you were saying with like the dark shit with the news cycles and stuff. It's like, like I am careful with it. I try not to get too far down into it, but like I listen to a decent amount of like true crime stuff, and that sort of thing. And I can't just pretend there isn't an edge of like interest in just the heinous level of like meticulous detail and the brutality of what happens, because that is like, those are the edges of the human psyche that are so interesting to read about, and they're so interesting as characters in fiction as well, is just to see the way that those people play out and the way that their lives end up metastasizing as they continue to go on. But it's like that doesn't make it good or wholesome or nice, but like it is, unfortunately, I think a thing that we all have a weird primal brain like predilection to like move toward, right? Like it's something that we're all like voyeuristically, vicariously kind of just subjugated to like ingest and mirror back into the world in like controlled ways. It's really fucked up, but it is what it is.
That, or it mostly tracks our original programming, because if you looked at the world 10,000 years ago, the world would still be a very violent, heinous place. And we're sort of in our way, we're like biologically attuned to that. And maybe it's the case that society has sort of preempted that and stymied these natural impulses towards violence and towards witnessing violence.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
society tried to deny evolution. I mean, shit. Society just changes and gets less and less violent. Like gladiators were a fucking thing not too long ago. We love watching people fucking kill each other, dude.
yeah,
Like, it's built into us. We have a capacity for atrocious, abhorrent things.
yeah, yeah. And like, listen, it's not true as a rule. It's true as a trend of what civilization is, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
the 20th century is the most violent century that has ever been. You know, by a long mile, right?
We got better weapons.
Yeah, but it is still the case that you can see, like, at an institutional level, you know, from schools to government to communities, that like the idea of, you know, being an agent of violence on your own and doing something and relying on violence is more frowned upon today than it was before. You know,
Yeah.
what that ultimately means is something else, you know, the effect that ultimately has. But like certainly at least the first 26 years of the 21st century is like massively less violent than the first 26 years of the 20th century.
Yeah. But that's also
Yeah.
because it's not personal violence anymore. It's fucking violence in the name of some religion or some fucking country. It's not personal anymore.
I mean, World War I, it's millions and millions and millions.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't have those wars right now. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. 2040, 2050, you know, 10, 20 million people die, maybe. But it's
World
just
War III.
possibly. I mean, like, listen, like it's the famous. It's so trite. But it's like one of those things that's so trite that it's true. Like Albert Einstein, I'm not sure if he's the guy who actually said this, but he's like, like the first World War was fought with this, the first, second World War, the next World War will be fought with sticks and clubs because nobody will be left.
Yeah. It was Einstein. He said that to Oppenheimer after the whole bomb thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was a smart guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
Einstein.
But
Maybe.
I guess to take us back out of the aether, because I'm sorry to have
Yeah.
led you into this area, but like going back to what you were talking about before with the childhood influences and whatever, it doesn't have to be just movies, but what was your inception point for getting into horror as a genre, or just, you tread a lot of lines and play with a lot of different genre sensibilities with this last book, but like, what got you into it initially and what kind of like built toward that point to where you are now?
And also, when did you start writing?
Okay, so that's an easier question to answer. I've been writing my entire life.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In one way or another, I've been writing my entire life, and not just in school, and not just because I had to. Like on my own time, Like, like whether or not I'm sure that I wrote this story, why my brother Arthur is a fart face,
Yeah.
I would like actually like write out an entire story with detailed and like logical reasoning and colorful examples of why my brother was a fart face.
Yeah.
And then I would like deliver it to him under his door and listen to him cry.
Hell
But I've always been writing. Always. My mom has a picture somewhere from like in kindergarten. She says, I guess it was always going to happen. It was like everyone else did, like I saw a clown and like I was in a field, and me, I just have like a huge picture of a black bat. And it just said, there was no I. It just says black bat flies in the rain.
Hell yeah.
So that's easier to answer. I've always been writing.
Yeah.
Influences. I couldn't recall. I mean, who knows how accurate it is? Because like when you're thinking of childhood memories, are you remembering childhood? Or are you remembering your memories of childhood? Right?
Yeah, and it's like it's every time you recall a memory, it's like rebuilt from the ground up in your brain.
It's valuable.
Yeah.
But I would say, like as a for instance, RoboCop. Fucking loved RoboCop.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
And just as of an example of how unreliable memory is, I didn't even think of that until I've been talking about this book. I've been just like vomiting about this book for months now, and I haven't even thought of RoboCop. How I watch RoboCop all the fucking time. You know? And you know, of course, like being a kid, totally missed the dystopian part, the OCP thing, which is really the linchpin of the RoboCop movies, like this privatized police force, and like Paul Verhoeven's sort of like tongue-in-cheek commercials, you know? And,
dude.
And like the nonsense that like people in the consumerist mindset will imbibe, you know, like I buy that for $1 and all the other weird commercials. But RoboCop, my dad was a profound influence in that he would take me to see highly age inappropriate movies. So I remember seeing Terminator 2 when I think I was 6 or 7 in theaters. And it was actually, I think at the time we were actually living in Indiana. And he would take me to the theater, and like this is a different time, so people are much more judgmental and the standards are very different. So
for sure.
People would see him taking, you know, like a barely not toddler in to see a violent movie, and they'd look at him. And my dad, you know, who grew up in the Northeast and is not a very nice guy, although he's a very fun guy, and he'll be nice to you if you're friends, but he's not a very nice guy. He would turn to like 65-year-old women and be like, mind your fucking business, you know?
It's the right thing to do, dude. Fuck those bitches.
Yeah, for sure. I used to think that too, but then, you know, like my mom turned 65 and I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe not fuck them all.
I get it. For sure.
And then there's like a sort of like a combination of the, you know, the stuff that like I think a lot of people saw, because it used to be that, you know, media was this monolith and you watched what was available to watch. You did not have the choice. You know, maybe you had some, you know, things were tailored a little bit, but like primarily you watched the same thing. And so, I don't know how influential they were, but I definitely saw all of the Alien movies. You know?
Hell yeah.
I would say H.R. Geiger's aesthetic, like the alien itself. H.R. Geiger is a motherfucker, and you know, it's rarely a week goes by without me thinking about the things that H.R. Geiger has created.
His art was way better than the fucking anything in the Alien movies. Like those things are so crazy and surreal and cyberpunky and awesome.
Oh my god, he's so twisted, you know, and it's like that's the kind of, if you're aspiring to be an artist, that's the kind of artist you want to be. Like, listen, you might end up being the person that nobody gets until 50 years after your death, but you know, what are you shooting for? Are you shooting for popularity, or are you shooting for the truth, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, you want to you know, you want to create something that like that slaughters people's sacred cows, you know? Because unless you're doing that, you're not really an artist. You know, you're a prostitute, and that's fine. I have nothing against prostitution.
But what do you fucking legacy to be? That you were a fucking whore, or that you actually created something unique in yourself?
Yeah. But I mean, listen, that also has a limited audience. You know, like it's a very small minority of people who actually care to see something that is like novel and well thought out, you know? And I definitely don't look down on them, because I read my fair share of like what's considered popular media, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't really trash anybody because I've read 30-something Stephen King books, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I grew up, you know, in the Attitude Era of WWE. You know, I used to watch Monday Night Raw every single fucking week, right?
Exactly.
So I'm not like a snob. I read some of the same things that snobs read, you know. But I guess the difference is that like I'm genuinely interested in reading them, and they want to be able to read it because they want to tell people that they read them.
Exactly.
Yeah, just to talk shit about it.
Yeah. I'm not waiting on every opportunity to tell people, you know, what I thought about Dostoevsky's The Idiot. I read it because I thought it was interesting. I mean, it's a slog, you know, everything Dostoevsky writes is at least 600 pages, you know, in the latter era, it's tilting closer to 800 or 900 words. But, you know, the guy wrote like a motherfucker,
Yeah, it was his only reprieve from trauma, though. I mean, like, I love Crime and Punishment, but it's what
a life.
What a life. That whole Firing Squad story kills me. And I think about it every time I read a word he fucking writes. And I'm like, this poor man.
Dead kid, father murdered by the serfs in the family vacation dacha. And Dostoevsky has epilepsy, which is like, listen, I have Russian in-laws, all right? They're not the most forward-thinking people, and they basically thought if you had epilepsy, you were a demon.
Yeah.
Possessed. Yeah.
And then he had a gambling addiction, which is like, listen, other addictions are just as ruinous, but nothing will destroy your life quicker than a gambling addiction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That's like a race to the bottom. And it was brutal. I remember reading The Brothers Karamazov and that scene at the end where like the old drunk's, kid dies and he's just wailing. And I'm just like, oh God, this is so awful. And it makes you think like, why would I read something like this? Why would I upset myself so? But it's because, you know what? There's a couple of things that human beings really gravitate towards. And one of them is the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter how dark it is.
Exactly. No matter how dark it is. Despite all of our lying and our prevaricating and our own personal predisposition to covering our asses, the truth is that, like, look, watch court cams. See what happens when they find when they find out a defendant lied.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They don't like it.
No.
It's
just crazy.
People do not like liars unless they're representing their congressional district.
True. Yeah. So I do got a question for you because you brought up that you're Jewish, and that was really interesting to me because like I said, Infernal Tramps is my favorite, but I was wondering what time period it was set in because to me, since the creatures are all speaking German and shit, and like it's on the train card, it felt really 40s and very Holocaust-esque, like with the Jews being like brought through the trains. Like, is there any of that in there, or am I just like kind of searching?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was a question I had too. I was very curious about all the old world German with the otherworldly beings kind of appearing in the book.
I mean, honestly, probably the German influence has more to do with. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say no because the truth is I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
subconscious.
All writing. No matter how deep it is, it's surface level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I were able to vomit up my actual subconscious, I can't tell you what color it would be and what characters would be drowning in the muck, right?
Yeah.
But I think probably it has more to do with the fact that I grew up in Pennsylvania. I was born in central Pennsylvania. It has, to my knowledge, the highest population of German immigrants in the United States. And a lot of the people that I grew up with were German,
Okay.
Yeah.
At least to a certain point. And then, at a certain point, I moved to Philadelphia, and that was no longer the case.
Yeah.
But, and I cannot say why I have a hyper focus on Germans and the German language and German culture. Even the other languages in the book, they are Germanic languages,
Do you look that shit up, or do you actually know German?
No, I don't know. I used to speak German. So
fuck. Okay.
So I can work my way with a little, but I definitely don't speak Dutch, and I definitely don't speak Afrikaner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So but I did go to Hebrew school. So here's something that redounds to your viewpoint. I did go to Hebrew school. We watched and learned a lot about the Holocaust. Probably. Mm-hmm. A lot more than little kids should.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're like 9-10 years old and you go to the Holocaust Museum and you see like the piles of the shoes of the dead.
Yeah.
And like, do you comprehend it? Do you not comprehend it? Who's to say? But you don't forget it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you understand that it's very important to the people around you even before, because as a kid, you can't really, that stuff can't be important to you yet. No matter Now, no matter how important it is in the scheme of the world, you know, at 7 years old, the fact that the horror of the Holocaust cannot be important to you. You don't have the faculties necessary. You haven't lived enough life, you know?
Yeah, you can't
exactly.
grasp it.
Yeah, you need that lived experience. You need the maturity to understand the full breadth of what you're actually even witnessing, even if it's sometimes 2 decades or more past the prime of like when you actually saw it. Like it's.
I mean, I think no one's primed to understand it like parents who work and have property, right?
Yeah.
Because then you understand, you know, because then you have basically, I have a familiarity with the way that I'm mechanically connected to the world in terms of paying taxes and paying bills and being on the books for getting my kids to school and having documentary evidence that they're alive on a sustained basis, you know? And like, basically I'm hooked in. And so when you have all that, you can understand, wow, the gears of the state apparatus moved to exterminate people. And by the way, this happened in the most sophisticated country that intellectually the world has ever known, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically a way of saying nobody is ever safe ever. Ever. Nobody's ever safe.
Safety is just a straight up construct. It does not actually exist.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know. Like Germany in one instance gave the world, you know, like its own cultural micro renaissance, and in the next it showed how all the mechanics of human invention could be directed towards being brutally inhuman.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're all just getting chewed up in the cogs of the machine. It's really, really scary stuff.
You know, but at seven, never paid a bill.
Yeah.
Never broken up with anybody. Never gotten drunk and embarrassed yourself in public. You know.
Yeah.
Never gotten a notice from the state tax authority.
Yeah.
You know, never seen a zero balance in your bank account. Never been punched in the face in public.
Yeah.
You know, none of those things have happened. So you don't understand the way that the world is.
It just sticks with you, like internally, like unconscious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has more.
There's just something naturalistic at the core of your being that when you see certain things, you're just like, that's significant, whether I know why or not yet. Like it is significant, and it will continue to be significant as I grow as a person. Like,
So that's interesting to me with your answer too, because I was wondering how you fucking go about like writing, because it's like if you mapped it out and like kind of had influences or just ideas like or like lore behind like the fucking creatures in like Infernal Tramps, or if you just like do what I do and just like sit straight down and write page 1 to the end.
Probably closer to sit down and just write. I don't really have a process. I have a process, something closer to a process with novels. But I think you have to, because if like with a short story, I mean, like, look, the longest one in the collection, I think, tops out at like 8,000 words, you know? Like, I got no problem going back. It might take a little bit of time, but I can go through a 8,000 page story and revise the whole fucking thing. I don't want to do that in 100,000 fucking words.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's in my, you know, my creative self-interest, but also in the cause of my personal sanity to map out novels, you know, short stories. The great thing about a short story is like, you know, fuck it, I'll do what I want.
It'll end when it ends. Yeah,
it'll end when it ends. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, maybe a bunch of German guys show up at the end. You know,
that's my favorite kind of writing, though. I love when people just let their subconscious take them to where they get taken to, you know, and then it's like, you know what, I think I've got enough here. This is it for this one.
Yeah.
It was so cool. That was like one of my favorite things about Infernal Tramps is that aspect of like, sometimes the stories just end and then you're just like, whoa, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah, like the first one, dude.
Yeah.
The first one, dude. It just ends at the fucking, what, you want our security system?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like with a frivolous punchline. And that's I gotta tell you, people love that one. People love. I'm trying to think of.
I thought it was a really strong start. I really liked it a lot.
Me too. Yeah, I read the first one and I was like, okay, I love this.
Yeah, I was immediately hooked.
Here's my favorite thing about the book too, because especially in the first story, it seems 50s, like in that weird salesman fucking suburb area.
Yeah,
and then each story has such a different feeling of a time. Like the fucking game one, I'm never gonna fucking say because I'm gonna sound like a retard. That felt 80s to me. Like it feels so eclectic but connected at the same time.
I agree with that. I don't know how much of a retard you could sound like because the word is made up.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So like it could just the story could just as easily be hibbly dibbly splash, you know?
Yeah.
or splash, you know?
Was it? Puchkamonka? Is that what it was?
Puchkamonka? Puchkamonka.
I you know what? I've messed this up in like Puchkamonka splash. And I gotta tell you,
Okay.
I like went through and edited it because like at different points I had it as Pook Jamanka splash, Pooj Kamanka, Pooja Jamanka, and I'm just it's like you got to be able to say your own made up word or at least write it.
Yeah,
that helps.
At least remember the spelling.
Yeah.
Well, this might be a hard question, but what are your favorites in Infernal Tramps?
Probably the Golden Mile.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm saying that because I've been asked that question a bunch, and that's usually been my answer. But it's just like so fucking whacked, and it takes place in Philadelphia, and I don't know. I just like it has these themes. There's nothing that's like of some great philosophical importance or like that really speaks to my like writing style. But it's just like it has the things that I like. It's got like a huge demented dog that everyone's afraid of. It has this like all of a sudden society is changing, this collective madness, but it's towards something like mundane and like gold is desirable, but it's just like people are now interested in it in a very stupid way, and there's like flags of it, and then it has like it just has these characters that I've grown to love, like the mentally disabled worker who's helping to put up the flags, and he like has like a bedazzled collar on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like love the idea of like seeing someone that like that out in society. And then, I like a little bit of a story where it has like a segment that seems like history a little bit, like where you're learning about the circus in the Golden Mile. Some of that.
I love that.
Yeah, well, some of that's based on like a real circus. I forget which one. It's in my notes somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it did that. The ones that like people really love. I mean, listen, they're all my stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all my fucking stories. I like them fine,
Yeah.
But anyone who creates something has different reasons for enjoying the things that they create than the people who appreciate the creation, right?
Yeah.
So like, if promises were meant to keep, it's like I don't know how people took it, but just like the idea of a man who's had himself ruined by alcoholism and then is like sort of chased by his literal demons. Of course, it gets a little stranger than that because you have the guy who's like, shows up riding backwards on a horse holding an elephant gun. So it's not like purely his demons. That stuff, I think, I'm not sure what it appeals to, but I definitely like that more than, Tezcat Apparatus, the first story.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little more bizarro. And like that one you were talking about reminded me a lot of like Jodorowsky and like the Holy Mountain, and just you see this random cool surreal imagery.
I love Jodorowsky. Is it Jodorowsky or Jodorowsky?
Dude, I'm just gonna say Yodorowski. That's what I've been saying for years, so we'll figure it out one of these days.
How about we just call him El Topo?
El Topo.
Yeah.
El Topo.
No, I think, though, one thing that I really liked is it felt like the stuff at the beginning was really, really accessible versus the full breadth of the collection, and it really hooked me. So then when I got into a lot of the longer form stories as we went, I was so much more mentally prepared and much more interested in engaging with them fully in a way that, like, I think that, I don't know, I just think the pacing of this whole thing and the way that you laid out the stories in the order that you did really fucking worked, because I think that the later stuff has a lot of that subtext and the deeper kind of stuff to dig into with, like, oh, what does he mean by this? What is he getting at with this? Like you were kind of talking about with some of the longer form stuff. And I think that the way you laid it out really helps the reader just continue to, like, ride that wave, like I was talking about earlier, with almost the dreamlike, almost like nightmare logic of it all.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely something to be said for having such, like, short, punchy, very, like, delicious prose kind of stuff toward the beginning that really gets you, like, engaged, right? And then you're just like, okay, this is a really cool book. I can't wait to see what's coming next. And then you get into the deeper stuff, and it really is just like I don't know, it just kept me sailing. It just kept me sailing the whole time, and I really liked that.
I agree too, because the middles, like, there's a couple stories that just, like, fucking punch you, like the dementia-ridden grandma and the fucking chaos with the fucking game, like, in the middle, that just, like, viscerally punch you to keep you going, of like, fuck.
Yeah.
I want to make that my ringtone. Just the way you just said fuck. Just like, fuck. Who's calling? It's my mom.
Punch in there.
It's my mom.
It's my mom. You know, that's one of the only things I can say with certainty was purposeful. You know, you want people to read your book, right?
Yeah.
If you start off with Ivor Volman, or is it Ivor?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But if you start off with that, people are going to be like, you know, this is a lot. This is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the difference between. It's like that. My brother has this thing, and thank God he's married now to a woman who can tolerate him. But he used to meet women, and inside of a week, he would send them like 100 roses, right?
Jesus.
And that's just too fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Right? That's too fucking crazy to do for pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Even in like a Jane Austen novel. That's fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So people quite naturally thought that he wanted to wear their skin. He didn't. He didn't. He was just like, you know, he's a needy guy, you know? But here's the thing. If I send my wife, who I've been married to for 13 years, 100 roses, well, that's lovely, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, part of having readers engage with you is that, you know, you're courting them. They don't know you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, listen, if I had cachet and, like, someone knew my fucking name and every time you pick it up, you're like, this is going to be batshit insane, but that's what I'm here for, fine. But, you know, you can't start off with a clown dog who wants the whole world to bring him gold. You can't start off like that. You start with like something small and insidious. A pest deterrent system, you know?
Yep.
Tiny twist at the end.
Yep.
Right? And then by the end of it, you know, you got like blood-smelling babies running across the woods trying to track down these guys who have some mystical herb that turns them into like psychic vampires or something, you know?
Yeah.
But at that point, you're in the book and you're like, well, this tracks.
Yeah, no, I think the full range of the stories on display here, I think it's kind of insane just how different everything is, but it also has this semblance of cohesion that makes the whole collection work in this really, like, wider way. that I love from start to finish, and I definitely am going to be picking up a physical of this because I got to have it.
Yeah.
And
I was
also,
going to ask, when does that come out too? After he's done talking,
It's out. Amazon's been fucking me up though. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's out on Amazon.
Hell yeah.
But you should be able to buy it. But there was this whole listen. It doesn't matter. It's like behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like I can't get author copies, so I can't. Like what I used to do is I used to send everybody author copies because they cost like dog shit nothing. Because because it's Amazon. But I just have no access to it right now. Thanks a lot, Jeff Bezos. I've been, I've been calling him the Dread Dark Overlord. My thinking is that like an algorithm picked up on me saying that so many times. He's like, well, you know what, Alex?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself then. We'll see how you like that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're being psyoped. This is psychological torture right now. They're trying to wear you down.
Yeah.
No, I have a book on Amazon and I had to buy it full price a couple times because that fucker, like, it just fucked up on me and wouldn't let me do shit. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's like, what do you, if I was buying sponges, there wouldn't be a problem, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, the thing with your book that I really, really appreciated was the thing you put in there. This wasn't the only thing, obviously, but like what I thought was super strong about this collection was that you had a ton of visual elements with the artwork for every single story and the cover art and everything, and then that statement at the end about not using generative AI, and I thought that was super, super fucking cool. But you had talked about earlier with the thing with like drawing the bat in school as a kid or whatever. What is your full range of mediums as far as like creativity goes? Like, do you do very much visual art? Because I thought all the visual art in this book was very stunning. I thought it was really cool, really effective. And I thought it really, for me, it added a lot to the stories without taking away from the stories. Like I think a lot of other authors can do. Like I'm thinking about like splatterpunk authors like Aaron Beauregard or people like that, where like they'll have really cool illustrations in their book and really cool presentation with the covers, but in a way it takes away from how kind of dodgy a lot of the written sensibilities are within the work themselves, because it kind of fills in some of the gaps that he doesn't really eloquently explain within the writing. But like with your stories and with the stuff you put in here, it was so surreal and so disconnected while also being relevant that it gave me so much more in terms of my full exposure and my full experience as far as like going through this whole thing was. It was just so cool. And well, I just want to know what else you do.
Well, I have in a closet somewhere, and we had planned to, possibly frame some of these, but I have hundreds of watercolor paintings put away somewhere.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And, they're all mostly weird and demented, and, a couple of them even have my own blood in them,
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
So, there's plenty of background, and, listen, the schools that I went to, they had good arts programs, so I learned some of the rudiments. I don't know that I'd say I learned them evenly, or I didn't, learn them in a system or anything, I didn't go to art school, but... my favorite thing to do to procrastinate is to Photoshop. So, there's that, and
that's a good way to procrastinate, man.
Yeah,
that only
if you don't want to be
creative.
Be creative.
Yeah, serves the full body of the other stuff you can put that into. It's really cool.
Yeah,
but I think it's hard because a lot of people, they want to be a hyphenate. They want to be a writer, artist, this and that and everything, and I think I can rely on my own judgment enough that if I put the pictures in there and I'm like, wow, this is clashing or it just makes no sense, I'd take it out.
Yeah.
But and I know the other side of that. You were talking about with Aaron Beauregard, but I know the other side of it with Stephen King, and I understand that Stephen King's trying to do it, because he has illustrators that are his friends, and he's, he's sort of like, he's not just a writer, he's an institution. So, if you have a friend, and I'm sympathetic to this, I have friends, if I could make their career by putting a page of their stuff into something that I do, well, I'd probably fucking do it too,
Yeah.
But
sure.
But I've definitely read, Stephen King books, you know, and I've seen the drawings, and I've just been like, this is taking away from me, you know? It's not what I envisioned, and it's sort of paltry compared to, you know, the characters that he's written. You know, that being said, you know, like, he's Stephen King, so like, Alex, go fuck yourself. Who cares? You know?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I as soon as I saw the cover for this book, when I got onto the website and I was getting ready to read it, I was instantly hooked and enthralled. Like, I was very much like, okay, cool, we're getting into some cool shit here, because this is a really cool cover. It has almost like a Lynchian aspect to it that I really, really am responding to. I feel like I'm in for something cool here. And it was. And I was really happy to see that, like, it wasn't being propped up by the aesthetic choices that you made with the artwork. It just felt like it was so complimentary. Like, again, I think that what I loved about your collection is that everything just gelled in this way that I'm just so not used to. It feels like everything is always pulling in different directions, or it's like one thing is the strong suit and the other is not quite up to par. This feels like it just really was a full package deal, man. And I loved that. I loved that about the book.
I'll say this. Yeah. I'm nothing if not uniformly fucked up. So, that is where the consistency comes from, I think.
I think on our review episode, somebody compared it to like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, like basically Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark for adults. With the cool illustrations in between.
What is his name?
Alvin Schwartz. I don't know. Was he the illustrator or the guy?
Stephen Gamble. Stephen Gamble is the illustrator.
Yeah.
But his stuff, if you've read, because I have a collection of his stuff separate from Scary Stories, where it's just his like nice and pretty children's illustrations, but like they're still kind of weird and discordant and like strange looking and off kilter a little bit, even when he puts some full color in there. But like, he did a lot of water media, and I love water media. It's one of my favorite things to fuck with when I'm doing traditional art. I would absolutely love to see more of your watercolor stuff. I feel like that would be such a cool thing to get a full scope of you as a creator. It would be so cool to see like the full breadth of what you've made.
I'd be happy to send you a couple of pictures, maybe with some dick pics, maybe not. You know?
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Give me everything you got.
But yeah, I think I said that. I don't know. I was pretty fucking drunk. But because one of my favorite pieces of art is the implant story with that girl, like that crazy artwork for the girl. I loved, and it reminded me a lot of that with how the watercolor was like washing her out into this like ghost of a creature kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic time to do art in any medium. It really is. You know, all of the art, it all originates in the public domain. And then what I did is I basically transformed it to the point where it's still credited in the back, but to the point where, you know, you couldn't recognize the source. But it's just like the access for us is incredible. If even like you think about this, you know, here we are in 4 different places, and you know, after some fucking around, you know, we've been talking here now for an hour, completely separate from one another, connected only by an electronic signal and the mutual love for my work.
No, exactly though. Like I think like, so for me specifically, because I do a lot of like artwork for covers and posters for movies and things like that. And I love when I get the chance to play around with like doing my traditional artwork or my like really down in it kind of like macro detail, like digital drawings or whatever else. But like a lot of people just want graphic design and they think they want artwork. So what I actually end up doing is taking a lot of design elements from public domain images and then transposing those into a composition and then doing a little bit of artwork over top of that stuff.
Yeah.
But like ultimately there is like very much a hodgepodge of the wider collective of what we have at our disposal now, which is, it is immaculately, it's just such an expanse. It's such an expanse. There's like no shortage of anything you could be looking for.
It's unending.
Yeah.
Media,
exactly.
media is unending. You know, it used to be like maybe you couldn't see the end of the line, but like you had a sense when you were a kid that it was there. It was finite. Today, it multiplies upon itself every single day. You know, there's no you don't even have a notion of the scope of how much writing and pictures and graphic art and media and film and short film and video is out there. You couldn't, you couldn't begin to guess. You know.
Yeah. Nowadays, like I will go looking for the perfect element to be like the border or the frame, the something that I'm doing. And I will just spend hours collecting and saving little elements of things that I really like, that I'm never going to probably touch, but I'm going to stockpile them for the potential of future projects while I try to find the one thing that I wanted. Whereas it was like the second or third thing I saved ultimately that I end up using. But like I saved like 10 to 20 to 30 plus things in that meantime, just searching because I'm just like, these will be great for later. Like,
and while you're searching, you know, by like the third or fourth one, in your mind, you know, like, oh, I already found the perfect one, but it's not the thing you like best.
Yeah,
but but still, like, I definitely know exactly. Like, I have saved an image and been like, this dog is so heinously ugly. This has to be. That like fate will deem this dog usable at a point, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes I just be like, you know what? The color scheme on this wound is amazing. You know, this is I have a file. I have a whole folder of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a whole folder.
The wound folder. Hell yeah.
The wound folder.
Oh my
I'm
god.
taking up way more space than I need to, just collecting things like that I'm never going to end up using, but like I do it anyway because you never know when you need an art reference or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You never know when you need a picture of a cankle.
Dude,
yeah.
I got some
Oh,
gross
man.
ass effects references for movies. Fucking just a whole folder of just weird shit. I'm like, that's a weird fold. I want to recreate that one day.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? That sort of collecting has become so popular. You know, like 30 years ago, if someone found that on your computer, you'd be referred to the FBI.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it is, man.
Nowadays, people like that are just called nostalgic. You know?
Yeah, I'm
The amount of
nostalgic for
fucking-
best gore.
Grotesque nonsense that I have saved just for the happenstance of like, if I happen to think I need it for something, like one day it's just like, the NSA has its tendrils and everything, but like they haven't come for me yet, so I guess I'm doing all right. I don't know.
Dude, the NSA is still going through shit from when I was 12. There'll be a
my
while.
God.
I had a cousin. Well, someone had a cousin who worked at the NSA, right?
Oh, damn.
And I just remember like at a family dinner and being like, "Listen, the NSA does not care if you shit on your wife, you know."
Yeah.
This it's like the things that you're worried about. It's like a doctor seeing your ball sack. Like the doctor's seen 1,000 ball sacks. He doesn't care about your ball sack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's 90% of the NSA's job is fucking nudes and dick pics.
Yeah, exactly. Just like at a certain point, it's just like, listen, you seen one, you seen them all, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you
Gives
get
you a
to a
lot more
micro
peace of
penis.
mind.
But damn it, I want to
peace of
see
mind
them
when you get that. Yeah.
Well, guys, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we end this?
I don't know. What about you, Lisa?
No, I think you guys have basically asked everything I wanted to ask.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You're fine.
I knew you were
apologize.
nervous. I just wanted to help steer the ship a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just a drunkard that has questions randomly, and I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of micro penises now. So it's
Oh my
getting really hard.
God.
It's getting really hard to think.
Now, think of this though. Imagine every micro penis so microscopic that it's like a pixel.
Okay.
And that
Yes.
when you're setting a pixel rate on a picture, what you're really setting is the grid of micro penis.
Damn.
Yes.
I don't know of a
Look at
better
me.
note to leave this interview off.
Oh,
than that right
no.
there.
Oh, my
Alex
gosh.
Grass, thank
Well,
you for hanging out with us.
No, I wanted to add, you said that you have something coming out in August, right? Is that something you want to talk about? Or
I do? Oh, the story, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a story. I'll send it to you guys. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I could say where it's going to be, but
Okay.
it'll be, I'll follow up. I'll let you guys know. It's out on August 28th. I'm not sure if the publisher wants me to say where.
Actually, I do actually have one last question, just based off of like where to pick up the shit. But do you self-publish a majority of your work, or do you have like publishers working with you that put your shit out? Or
I have publishers who do the short stories, and I put out all my books myself.
Okay.
okay,
Hell yeah.
so all on Amazon KDP, I'm guessing.
I think like one of them's on Barnes and Noble, and it's weird because like I typically I do the website and everything myself, so I have to update the media. So occasionally the easiest way to find stuff is just to Google Infernal Tramps, right? And so while I'm adding links, I'll see like weird stuff, like there's a place in France that sells it.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
It's out of stock, but it's up on Target. Like, I don't know what the rhyme or reason why this ends up in different places. But,
Yeah.
but sometimes the only place I've with intent published it is on Amazon.
Okay.
We'll have a link in the show notes for all of our wonderful listeners. They can pick up Infernal Tramps
Yeah.
by Alex
Be better than
Grass.
Chris and read it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you guys have done such a great job selling this book. I almost want to read it.
Yeah. Well, Alex, this was super fucking cool.
It
I
was,
really
yeah.
appreciate that you went out of your way to say you wanted to do something like this with us, because we've had interviews with filmmakers on the film side of things, but this is a big deal, big stepping stone for the book side of the podcast.
Yeah.
This was super cool, and you fit in like a glove. It was so
yeah.
fucking cool. I hope you'll come back again and do something for some of your future stuff, because we would love to talk with you about other works that you've got going
yeah.
on.
I'd love to. Be careful about inviting me. I'll show up at Thanksgiving dinner.
No, man. Yeah, no, it's very much like that. It's a drop in, drop out. Everybody's a host kind of podcast. You can come in. You can come in and do movies with us if you want to, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'm less of a host than a parasite, but I'll still come.
You got full access Fridays at 4. Come fuck around.
4:00 your time, Bones.
but-
That's not his
but
time.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry.
You did fucking great. Did we do okay? Was this okay for you?
You know what? I came away fully satisfied, and I'm
Yay.
smoking the equivalent of a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
Silas is
Cheers.
a considerate lover.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Alex. It was a real fun time.
It was.
an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you for having
Hell
me.
yeah.
Yep.
Probably one of the best interviews we've had, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Hell yeah. Well, that was another.
You're a great conversationalist, man.
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
I have my moments, I try to think about the Holocaust and rape and, keep it fresh.
Well, that was another
Dude,
damn
no,
fine
we're gonna
episode.
tag team to make a whole comic series about this rape baby.
Oh my God. Well, that's it for What the Fuck Are You Reading? Say bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
Goodbye.